How's it going, everybody? My name is just Jared, but you can just call me Jared. This is your one-stop shop for loot-related games, and today I've got another Destiny 2 beginner guide for you. This time, focusing on the confusing mess that is purchasable content. There's lots of avenues to buying content for Destiny, between expansions, seasons, and most recently anniversary events and dungeons, that I needed to make an entire video talking about it and breaking it all down. Basically, I'm here to just simplify it for you, tell you what you need to know, and what I think you should purchase if you're a new or returning player, and what you should straight up ignore for now or never buy. We're going to go over what's included in each available expansion, what you will or will not have access to with or without said expansions. We'll talk about seasons and what they include, then we'll go over separate events and dungeons, and last we'll discuss the Destiny Content Vault. It sounds like a lot, and it kinda is, but if you're new to the game, this video will explain it all, so let's begin. Although Destiny is listed as a free-to-play game, I and many others would argue that it's really not. It's more like free to try. So if you've downloaded Destiny and played through the New Light campaign and messed around enough with the game to get a feel for how it works and if you'll enjoy it with more content, and are willing to drop $40 on an expansion, you should always get the most recently released one, no questions asked. With Destiny, you don't need every expansion. Beyond Light is the latest of 3 currently available expansions, but you don't need the first 2 to buy the third, basically. As of the making of this video, the most recent expansion release is Beyond Light. If you want to go a step further, you can buy the Beyond Light plus 1 season bundle for $50, which is the price of the expansion plus 1 season. This will always get you the season that is currently going on. Do not buy the Beyond Light Deluxe Edition because it'll cost you $70 because it comes with 4 seasons, but 3 of those seasons are already over. Although you'd have access to some of those season-specific activities, you won't be able to access the seasonal rank pass from those past seasons, which contain the seasonal exotic weapons, armor, materials, cosmetics, weapons, etc. You'd still be able to obtain some of that loot through the past seasonal activities that are still available, but in my opinion, buying past seasons is not worth it, especially now, because once the new expansion Witch Queen releases in February, the previous 4 seasons of activities will be removed from the game and eventually replaced with the next 4 seasons of stuff. Unless you have a lot of free time on your hands and $70 burning a hole in your pocket, don't buy the deluxe version of Beyond Light. Also, the deluxe version of Beyond Light is currently the only way to get technically those past seasons, but you still don't get the past season rank system, so it really doesn't make much sense. Just don't buy it. Buying just Beyond Light, which is the best expansion to buy in terms of value from it, you'll get access to the 3rd subclass trees for Solar, Arc, and Void on each class. That's new abilities, new perks, new supers, and new build opportunities. You'll also get the first ever Darkness subclass with Stasis, which is like ice powers. This new subclass also has a deeper customization system than the light-based subclasses do. You'll get access to a brand new campaign full of missions, boss encounters, loot rewards, and dope cutscenes. New quests, including quests for exotic weapons, will become available, netting you 4 new exotic weapons. Legend and Master versions of Lost Sectors will be opened. These tougher versions of regular Lost Sectors have a chance to drop exotic armor for a specific slot that rotates daily, giving you an easier way to get exotics you don't have yet or target farm a high stat roll piece you're looking for. With Beyond Light, you'll also be able to obtain the 8 new exotic armor pieces for each class from these Lost Sectors. You'll also get the newest raid, the Deepstone Crypt, my personal favorite. Even though Beyond Light is the best expansion to buy, let's go over what the others will get you. Shadowkeep is the expansion that launched a year prior to Beyond Light and cost $25. Let's say you don't purchase Beyond Light and you get Shadowkeep instead. You'll still get the 3 new subclass trees for the light-based subclasses, you'll get new campaign missions on the moon, the ability to craft moon-themed weapons, the Pit of Heresy dungeon. Dungeons are essentially 3-man mini-raids, a couple exotic quests, and the Garden of Salvation raid. Forsaken is the expansion that was released a year prior to Shadowkeep and will once again get you those 3 new subclass trees for each light-based subclass. You'll get new missions focused on and around Cayde 6, the Hunter Vanguard, The Shattered Throne dungeon will become available with its accompanying exotic questline, and you'll have access to the Last Wish raid. But Forsaken will actually be going free to play on December 7th, 2021 before some of its content gets taken out of the game, or vaulted as it's called, when the next expansion Witch Queen launches on February 22nd, 2022. So, if you want to play Destiny and get as much out of it without shelling out tons of cash, buy Beyond Light, either just the expansion for $40 or the $50 bundle that comes with the current season. Wait until December 7th to play Forsaken once it goes free to play, and skip out on Shadowkeep entirely. If you end up getting addicted to Destiny, you can always get Shadowkeep later down the line for the raid if you want, but more than likely it'll be better to just save up for the Witch Queen expansion in 2022. Let's talk seasons now. Whereas expansions launch once a year, cost about $40, and are filled to the brim with new content, armor, weapons, exotics, secrets, raid, and a new location, a new season begins every 3 months, give or take. Seasons cost $10 and solely exist to pad the Destiny year out with a constantly changing storyline and evolving world. Each season has a theme, plot, character developments, surprising story twists, and they usually evolve the world and connect to each other in a way that continues the Destiny dark versus light storyline that's been going on for years now. Every season comes with new loot, armor, weapons, exotics, sometimes a new location, new missions that last for the majority of the season, sometimes we get secret quests and puzzles that lead to new exotic weapons, we get new activities, holiday events like for Halloween, Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day, etc., although most of these holiday events you still get access to even without owning the season. Each season also comes with a seasonal rank system that grants you bonuses, materials, loot, and cosmetics when you gain XP and rank up by playing the game, basically akin to how battle passes work in other games. Seasons work just like expansions do in the way that if you don't vibe with how one looks, you can skip out on it and still play the game without it. You just won't have access to that season stuff, obviously. So if you end up getting addicted to Destiny and play all of its content no matter what, like me and a lot of other people, you can expect to spend $80 on all the content that releases during a single year. Usually there are always bundles that give you everything, the upcoming expansion plus the 4 seasons, and usually these bundles also come with cool cosmetics and stuff like that, but you don't have to just straight up purchase everything at once if you don't want to. If you want, you can wait to see what a certain season will look like before you buy it. You can do that. A lot of people that play Destiny have been playing for 7 years now, so we just buy everything that releases because we like the game and have for so long now. If you ask around as to whether or not it's worth it, you'll get different opinions. People who have been playing for years will tell you hell yeah, it's worth it, while others who don't enjoy the game as much will tell you it's not. It's really going to depend on how much you enjoy Destiny, what Destiny is, and how it plays. This is why I highly recommend buying Beyond Light. You'll know for sure after you get enough time into that expansion if you'll enjoy more of that kind of gameplay and that kind of gameplay loop. Now we're going to get into the more kind of controversial part of the video. In the past, like we've talked about in this video, dungeons have always been part of a season or an expansion, but starting in 2022, Bungie is going to be selling access to dungeons separately because of how much money and time that they take to create. And Bungie wants to make more of them because they are one of the best and coolest activities in the game. Everybody loves them. This news is very recent, and also it's what persuaded me to make this video before my new Light campaign guide video, because this whole scenario only makes it more confusing for new players because it adds another avenue of purchasable content when there's already so many branching paths that net you different things. This particular news isn't necessarily important for new players who aren't even sure if they'll be playing the new expansion. You'll still most likely just be focused on the current game and if you'll even enjoy that, but this is part of the convoluted content mess, so I'm going to mention it. Basically, if you buy the $80 deluxe version of the Witch Queen expansion, you'll get everything: the expansion, the seasons, some cosmetics, and the dungeons. But if you just get the standard version of the expansion for $40 and wait to get the seasons because maybe you want to see what they are first before you buy them, then you'll have to purchase the dungeons separately with a separate cost, likely to be $10, meaning you'll be spending more later versus spending less now. Lots of people are angry with this, understandably so, but I'm not here to argue this scenario for now, just here to give the facts. Moving on. Oh, there's also an anniversary event coming up in December that costs $25. This is something that has never been done before, so I don't expect it to be a regular thing. Basically, it's the 30-year anniversary of Bungie, so there's this event that's going to be themed around all of Bungie's games, but in Destiny, with a new dungeon and super dope obtainable armor. There's also a $100 bundle that gets you this event and the deluxe version of Witch Queen, so there's that. Okay, now we're moving on. Last but certainly not least, this might be the most important part of the video for new or returning players, so listen closely. The Destiny Content Vault. What is it? I'm going to explain it, how Bungie explains it. Basically, the initial groundwork of Destiny 2 was built to last around 4 years. Once those years passed, the plan was to probably release a Destiny 3, because back when 2 launched, Bungie was still mainly controlled by Activision, who wanted them to release a new game every few years because money. After the split with Activision, Bungie decided to keep Destiny 2 going with an expansion/seasonal model versus creating an entire new game and forcing players to wait a few years for it to be done. The problem with this is Destiny 2 wasn't built to sustain all the content that has been added to it for so long, so Bungie created the Destiny Content Vault, or the DCV. This vault is where they put older content, even content from Destiny 1, when that content is underused or old. For example, the first 2 DLCs for Destiny 2, Curse of Osiris and Warmind, and their accompanying planets Mercury and Mars, are in the DCV right now, meaning you can no longer access those DLCs or planets, even if you paid for them. Other planets like Titan and Io are also in the DCV, and the Forsaken campaign and Tangled Shore location will be entering the vault when the Witch Queen expansion launches. Doing this allows the game to be updated much more easily and frequently because there's a lot less bloat and things to account for. This also allows for much quicker load times and reduces the confusion for new players, because without the DCV there'd be like way too much on the director. It'd be even more confusing than it already is for new players to get into the game. The disappearance of these planets and locations because of them going into the DCV are also tied to the storyline, so they're not just randomly there one day and gone the next. There's actual story reasons for the disappearance of Mercury, Mars, Titan, and Io, and I'm sure there will be for the Tangled Shore in a few months. As you might have guessed, this is also a very touchy subject for the Destiny community because people don't like losing things they paid for, and if you're wondering how Bungie is allowed to take away stuff people purchased, it's because it's in the terms of service that you agree to when you start playing the game. For the most part, things that go into the DCV are underused or old. They're vaulted to make room for new content, which I'm all for. That being said, things can also come out of the DCV, like the Cosmodrome location from Destiny 1 that's in Destiny 2 right now, along with some playable strikes and Crucible maps in the future. It's important to point out that the loot you obtained from vaulted DLC or expansions never gets taken away. Most of the time, loot that is tied to certain planets gets added to the world loot pool later down the line, so your loot is always safe. It's mainly locations, campaigns, and activities on those locations that get vaulted, so if you're an aspiring Destiny player, keep this in mind. In 2023, the Shadowkeep expansion will probably be vaulted since it'll be the oldest content in the game. Don't act surprised when it happens like 50% of the community did when they announced that Forsaken was being vaulted even after Bungie said it would be vaulting older content months ago. And that's it. That's what expansion you should be buying if you're new and what ones you should skip out on. That's all the info on how seasons work in the confusing Destiny content model, and that's what the Destiny Content Vault is and why it exists per Bungie's explanation. I hope this helped any new players trying to get into the game. Make sure to check out my last beginner guide video where I went over everything you need to know about Destiny, what it even is, and what kind of people like the game. If you are new to the game and found this video helpful, please drop a like so it can get out to more new players. My next guide video will be on the New Light campaign and what that campaign doesn't tell you that it definitely should, and I'll give you some tips on how to unlock everything as fast as possible. That's it for me. Thanks for watching. Until next time, peace out.